Hello and welcome back to the finishing line for another episode of Talking Points, where we review some of the weekend racing, have a little bit of a look through at some of the performances, and maybe even see if some of the Cheltenham targets have changed. Now, just the three of us for today. So before we go any further, Andrew, how are you and how was your weekend of punting?
I'm good, and it was great. Short and sweet.
Nice, pleasant
we get
surprise
into it more.
there. Good stuff. Sean,
pleasant surprise.
Well,
excuse you.
I haven't.
You're only in the door and he's showing jabs already, Sean. He hasn't earned that right yet.
Joe, I'm telling you, you've opened up the rules now. You're gonna have to come in at the thick and fast once you start that.
Sean got an easy 6 months, and then he started opening the gate a small bit.
It was all reflective of my own punting, lads. I think Banbridge was my only winner of the weekend, so it weren't great for me, but nice one, Andrew. Sean, what about you? How you doing? And did you have any good winners at the weekend?
Yeah, look, we had a cracking weekend. It started Friday, didn't it, all the way through today. Plenty of Cheltenham stuff in there. Horses boosting their chances, and definitely horses you'd say to yourself now, I don't know what position they're in at the moment. But a good one, yeah. And the nap one yesterday, Grey Dawn. Unfortunately, Prevails, the Gawa, was the non-runner, so maybe you'll have a better day ahead with him somewhere.
Yeah, excellent, Sean. And it was pretty good for the best bets of the weekend preview as well. We all pretty much put Banbridge and Grey Dawn in across the board, so that was nice and successful, as well as Mystical Power, who we will go on to discuss in a little while. But we'll start off then, lads, on Friday at Naas. We had the 12.42, the Tumar Novice Chase. Now, the winner was Quilixios at 5-1, beating Savoyer by just over 2 lengths at 3-1. And then we had Mr. Policeman at 8-15. And wow, very underwhelming indeed. Andrew, you foresaw this. Again, you were expecting this performance, but what did you think? You can't have been too pleased with that, can you?
If you're a fan of him, no. I honestly expected him not to win. I didn't get the hype. I haven't gotten it since he was 8-1, put in for an article, as I said, for beating pensioners down in Cork over hurdles. He's an inflated rating. His best chance of winning now is getting his handicap mark and maybe going to the Johnny Henderson. His jumping is not fluent at all. Doesn't travel with any zest. I just don't know. There's nothing about him that I like. To me, he's just a bang average grand horse. There's nothing spectacular about him. Look, I pointed out about his form and who's he's beaten when you compare it to who Quilixios is beaten. And it came to fruition that like Quilixios went off 5-1, which I thought was a ridiculously big price. I thought he'd go back out in front, which he did, and he'd use the jump. And look, people forget that he's a former Triumph Hurdle winner. He had his few issues throughout the years. He's come back to his somewhere near his best now. But look, where he goes next, I don't know. He's not a grade 1 horse in the making. Maybe he'll be a grade 2. Maybe they'll keep him for Punchestown Festival or something like that. But being the owners, he'd more than likely go to the Cheltenham Festival. What he run in, I don't know. But I think for Mr. Policeman, I think it's time to forget about him and wait till he hits a handicap.
Yeah, I mean, you told us as well. You said it was a good bet at 4-1. Ended up winning at 5s as well. So you got that one bang on there, Andrew. Sean, anything to add for the Novice Chase?
Yeah, look, Mr. Policeman was very disappointing. Look, I don't think it's going to be fences and 2 miles for him. And anyways, like, he's definitely out of an Arco picture or any sort of grade. He has it all to prove now, to be honest with you. Like, he tried to kick him out there with Quilixios, and he's ended up he couldn't really go to 2 mile gallop at probably the 4th or 5th fence out past the stands. And the jumping went a bit skew with, and he was fall downing out of an easy time home. He was well beaten. On Quilixios, thought it was a good performance. I don't know where he level up. I wouldn't see him as a threat to Marine Nationale now, but in a Messiel picture in behind that, I'd say he probably might try. I don't know. DRF could come up too quick. I don't know if he'd take another race in before Cheltenham, but he definitely had to throw his hat into the ring for coming in them places in Argo.
Do you think there's a little bit of improvement left in him, Sean, or do you think pretty much what we've seen of Quilixios is what we're going to get?
It's hard to tell. Look, I think he 3 mile when they upped him the last day, he just didn't stay at all, and he had a tough enough race. You don't see many horses make mistakes like he did when winning down on Limerick. I think it was Cool Survivor back in second. He managed to get up. I'd say he just took a run to get over that and probably too far. Whether he's grade 1 level or not, I'm not too sure. Unless there's a weak grade 1 going somewhere, but I think he'd be throw his hat into the ring and see how he gets on in an Arkle. Like, you've possibly a lineup of a field that's never normally too big. What will he get? Maybe 8-9 horses in an Arkle possibly, and it doesn't take much to go wrong for him to then find themselves in the places.
Yeah, I suppose he's probably going to be a little bit short when it comes to competing, I guess, with Marine Nationale. But overall, it just looked disappointing from Mr. Policeman. It seemed like there's another bubble burst. Not that it was ever totally full at any point, but yeah, there's another odds-on shot to go by the wayside for Mullins. We'll
just touching on what Sean just said there. Like, the Arkle. And look, he made a good point, because you look at the horses that are in at past Marine Nationale. You found a 50 of Gaelic Warrior, who we know where he'll run now at the DRF. Electric Tompa go here. Facile won't. Blood Destiny's not good enough. Hunter's Yarn's jumping is not. It would probably be his downfall. Then if clicks off, he goes out in front and he jumps the way he did around Naas. There's a high possibility at 20-25 to 1 he'll fill a place.
I suppose that, like you said, when there's not too much else there as well, are you pretty much just playing 4 places, aren't you? I suppose in Marine Nationale in the race. I suppose you're looking at 5 to 1, I guess, the place, if that's your sort of bet. Let's have a look at the Lawlors of Naas then, lads. Pretty decent race on paper. Looked like it fell apart a little bit halfway through. Reading Tommy wrong, ended up winning the race at 16 to 1, and he didn't go unsupported either. Managed to beat El Atlantique by a neck at 6 to 4, and then Lecky Watson was 7 lengths back in third. I mean, I definitely didn't expect this. I hardly even mentioned him when we were looking at the preview. Andrew, what did you think of the race? Were you impressed by the winner?
I wouldn't say I was impressed by any stretch of imagination. He'd done it very, very well. It looked an out-and-out stare. It was a strange race in the word go. You had Chapter Salai, who was out to make the run. He made a bad mistake first, and he made an even worse one in the second. That was his race run. And I just have a few notes there. Like, reading Tommy wrong, to me, he looks, as I say, he looks like a stare where he'll go Ballymore or what. Probably not good enough to win the Ballymore. But at saying that, I think Darryl Jacob gave him a lovely ride. He just waited his time and picked his way through the field. Again, look, the horse is unbeaten, so we could be giving him a massive underrating going into this. So it won't be the first time that we've done it, and he's come out and proven us all wrong. The wounds speak for itself, so he's a very, very good horse. He's a Grade 1 winner now. Look, he's thrown his hat into the ring. It's a matter of, do you trust the form or not? Do you trust that it was a true run of majority of these horses? Who knows yet? Like Il Antique, you can say, yeah, that's his true run. He was only beating a neck and he was 7.5 lengths in front of Lecky Watson. But does this fella like a battle? That's not the first time he's had to be outed in the battle. Yeah. So you're hemming and hawing about him dropping back down a trip. And what's he do? Is he bridle horse? Does he find much off the bridle? Saying that, he did find a bit towards the end, but he was out battled. Lecky Watson, he was a lot of people's eye catcher in this for the Spud race. He travelled really, really well into it, but he was lacking for pace. If he does that in the Ballymore, though, or not in the Ballymore, in a Spud race, is he going to see out the trip if he travels that well? Sometimes you can travel too well and just keep plodding on. Firefox, I don't know what to make of Firefox. I can't figure this horse out whatsoever. He goes off and beats Ballyburn, and then he finishes 4th in this. It's hard to know what to make of him. You give him another chance, obviously, after beating Ballyburn. Was that the real him, or was it an under par Ballyburn that he beat? That's up for debate. Ballyburn fans will say, yeah, it was Willie Mullins' first run, or his first run of the season for Willie Mullins. Willie Mullins' horses are approved for the run this season. Then you've on Tumar, his chance was gone 4 out. He made an awful mistake, landed on his arse. That was his race run. I'd give him another chance. Chapter Salai was the one that I took out of it. After he made them 2 mistakes, he was given a tender handling by Patrick Mullins. You can see the ground that he made up, just getting hands and heels from just before the turn, and he was miles off him from the turn, and just kept plodding away nicely. For me, if he sorts out that jump, and I think he has a massive chance in an Albert Bartlett. To me, he's just an out-and-out plotter. And Crow Park, don't know what to make of him now. I thought he'd end up being a really good horse, but he's very disappointing there. Whether something like that coming up out of it, I don't know, but he was the one that really disappointed. So in other words, I don't know.
Yeah, it is a bit of a messy race, isn't it? Because in reading Tommy Wrong's defense as well, he did find another bit of stamina when it was required, because he was headed at one point as well. But
he kind of has. He's, if you want to go back to the old days of the Bartlett, he's kind of the horse that's kind of doing the right thing to be a Bartlett horse. He's getting his experience, and and he's improving throughout the season. So you can't write him off whatsoever.
It's a difficult division this year just to try and figure out. Like, Sean, what did you think of the Lawlors? Were you impressed by the winner?
Yeah, I was deadly impressed. Now, look, it's easy talking in hindsight now, and people are going to say, what's he talking about? But like this, I know he's went off a big price. He's an unbeaten horse. Look, I know Willie's a bashed Atlantique, but some of these horses don't work as well as each other at home, and prices can differ. But like, unbeaten horse is an unbeaten horse. Like, you have to go and win, and perhaps back down to 2 miles, I can really shocked how he won the first day against Lisnagar Fortune, who came out and won today, just based off how he ran in that race. Like, there was not one point until about 3 furlongs out, or 4 furlongs out, where Daryl Jacob looked happy at all. I thought he gave him a peach, to be quite honest with you. They jumped off, and Chapeau du Soleil made the mistake, and he sort of came back on top of him. And I'd say Daryl Jacob was down to plan C, D, E by then, because it was like, we let this lad go around. He looked out of his comfort zone, and it was all happening too quick to him. Then coming down to the back straight, as it grew into the race, he got better and better, and then he latched hard onto the bridle before coming around that bend before 3 furlongs out. And I think Daryl Jacob thought he was going to pick up the winner a lot easier than he did in the finish. I don't think he expected Atlantique to fight out as much as he did, but this lad just screamed Albert Bartlett to me. I know he's had to win in a 2 mile Lawlors of Naas, and the obvious thing you'd say is go Ballymore. I just do not think a Ballymore will suit this lad the way it runs. I don't think going a slower, quicken her up, or like an end-to-end Ballymore, you don't get at all, do you really? It tends to turn into a tactical affair, and I think this lad will be caught out. And if he went to an Albert Bartlett, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind he's the standard setter by a country mile. I think there's still 8 and 9 to 1 out there about him, and I couldn't knock anyone taking the price about him, because like, you have Crow Park and Chapeau du Soleil that people are eyeing up, say, for the Bartlett. Like, this lad has gone and absolutely thumped them. I know it's a half a furlong down, but he's gone and won a grade mile at 2.5 miles, and I think up and trip is only going to suit him more. Like, Daryl Jacob, I think, hinted and said that if he was to go anywhere next, it would be up and trip. Down to Atlantique, I thought he ran a good race, but I think it's a battling. I don't think he didn't quite stay. I don't know if it's a battling trait or not, but I don't know if they drop this lad off and let him off the front in the Supreme and see how he gets on. A good test, like we've seen Stairs win the Supreme. If he's to book out in front and go away, Lecky Watson, ran his race, and Firefox baffled me. I didn't see anything coming out about him. He was there in Jack Kennedy's hands the whole way. I thought he was guaranteed to stay 2.5 miles. Perhaps he just hasn't, or he's ran below par, because he's been there, travelled in behind Atlantique. He's answered every question, and then when he came out to pose the challenge, he found absolutely zero. So I'm not too sure what to make of that Firefox run. But look, I wouldn't take away, although 16 to 1 shot has won the grade 1, I wouldn't knock him at all. I think he's a seriously good horse.
Have you backed him for the Bartlett as well, Sean? Have you had a go?
I did after it. I backed him. Small stakes now, because it's not a definite. But he just reminds me so much of the nice guy. If he's able to travel and over 3 miles a longer distance, he was able to come when Daryl Jacob wanted him under that 3 furlongs. He came into his hands, and I think that tournament year to win over 2.5 miles, if he can do that at 3, I think he'll stay. Could be a right weapon in that Albert Bartlett.
Yeah, so he's starting to become. He's like a dark horse that's starting to emerge now, isn't he? As well, I still wouldn't write off High Class Hero. I know we haven't seen him yet, but he's I think coming soon as well. He's another quite similar to the Nice Guy actually, and both got pretty decent gears as well, considering they're looking at going up to sort of 3 miles as well. Okay, so we'll move on to Saturday's action. We'll start off at Kempton. We've got the Grade 2 Silvagnaco Conti Chase, 2 miles, 4.5 furlongs. Banbridge was the winner here. We were all quite strong on his chances. He actually beat Pic de Ré by a length and 3/4. Yes, there was a slight mistake in there, quite let on for Pictory. And then Janadil was 17 lengths back in third. But I thought this was a right performance, this lads. I thought he travelled nicely. He jumped well enough as well. And I suppose he's one of these horses that when he gets all the boxes ticked, his ground, etc., he's a pretty decent mover. He'd be quite a nice horse to own. I think he's a little bit short now at 5-1 mind for the Ryanair, considering there's a few question marks around his chances. Andrew, what did you think of the race? And has Banbridge got a chance in the Ryanair?
I thought it was a very good run and a good win, considering his first run of the season, and he decided not to jump any of the fences bar the last. You could see, like, if you go back and watch it, you could see JJ Slevin's body language. I think he was always confident that he had Pictory covered, but it was Banbridge's just rustiness and lack of match practice that was letting him down in the jumping department. When you go back and you compare that to the way he jumped at Aintree, it's like chalk and cheese. This horse was winging fences around Aintree. I'm hoping now that just gets rid of the cobwebs for now, and whether he goes straight to Cheltenham now, I don't know where they'll go with him. Very ground dependent, so you won't want any downpour for the Ryanair. He's a massive chance. Look, he's 5-1 now. I put him up for my anti-post selection for the Ryanair at the start of the season, so I'm obviously going to be a bit biased here, but I've always liked him. I always thought there was something about him. After he won the Martin Pipe, I like horses that win the Martin Pipe because you always have to have that bit of something about you. There's been very good horses won that race over the past few years. You've the likes of Gallant de Champs, Iroko, bloody Sire de Champs, horses like that have all won the Martin Pipe and have come on to be very good chasers. To do that on your first run of the season, like Janadil, he was walloped by Allaho many times already, and if this was Allaho beating him, they'd be saying the same thing. Oh yeah, straight to the Ryanair, that's him done. Stone pulled his chance away. I think it was a fact. I don't think he stays this, and I think 2 miles is just his trip because they go so fast that takes out the keenness in. But I think Banbridge, yes, 5-1 is a short. Yes, probably is as of right now. But if he gets his ground, and look, I love Allaho. I've been a big Allaho fan since the hurdle days. But the run at Hampton, it's not to put me off, it's at to put a damper on the whole Allaho third Ryanair kind of thing. When I seen him held up behind, I just didn't like it. There was no real zest about him. There was no go about him. And whether the age is catching up to him now with the injury and whatnot, I don't know. So look, he's 10 as well. It's not really what you want going into Grade 1 at Cheltenham. I think he's a young up and comer. Yes, he's 8-year-old, but I think he's going to be lightly raced going into it. He's going to be fresh as a daisy, and I think he's going to run a massive, massive race. He's always going to be underappreciated because of the kind of horse that he is. He'll turn up at the start of the autumn and straight into the middle. He's always going to miss the big meetings in the middle of the winter because of the ground. So I think he will go underestimated. He probably will go off bigger at the festival, going on who he is. But he has a massive, massive chance. You'd be silly to rule him out of Ryanair.
He had a nice bit of good to soft then, Andrew. Would you fancy his chances over Allaho? Because he is just an 8-year-old, like you said, Banbridge, isn't he? So, I mean, would you go as far as saying he's got a chance to beat Allaho this season? You know, this season, as we see Allaho right now, where he hasn't dominated his previous 2 races, if we turn out a nice bit of good to soft, can Banbridge run his race and take him?
What I say about Allaho as well, and I probably contradict myself here, you go back and watch Allaho coming up to the Cheltenham Festival, he's never really strikingly good. But when he gets to Cheltenham, it's like a switch. He's on. And if you see Paul Townend line him up in the front and he jumps the first 2 like a rocket, sweet Jesus, best luck to the rest of them. It'll all depend on what Allaho turns up. If the Allaho of the Punchestown where he beat all them Grade 1 horses, Gold Cup winners, King George winners, if he turns up, none of them have a hope in hell of beating him. But there is that slight suspicion. Is the age catching up with him? Is the year off is not after doing him any good? But it'll all depend on what Allaho turns up. But if Allaho underperforms, he's definitely going to be there or thereabouts to pick up the piece. I have him ahead of Sage Star already. I think Sage Star is that they're having a tough season already. He's going to be freshened up, as I hear from Paul Nichols. And look, the 2 of them have Banbridge. Let's not forget he's 2 from 2 at Cheltenham, 1 over hurdles, 1 over chases. So he's course form, so no worries with that. He's an electric jumper when he's on. Yeah, look, he's a massive player.
Cool, lovely. I think he's a very nice. Again, he's a horse that's moving forward as well, isn't he? And the light campaign that he gets as well. Like you said, Andrew, he's going to miss a lot of the big races, but he'll go there nice and fresh, won't he? They can get him fully fit for the day. The ground's right. Yeah, why not? Great chance. Okay, so we move on to the Hampton. And sorry, Sean, I didn't even ask you, did I?
No worries. Look, I think
I did this last week as well. What did you think of Banbridge, Sean?
yeah, no worries at all. They went out a good clip here. Good test. Picked Dory made it. Look, Banbridge's jumping was Jesus. That was a red alert now and here. That'll have to scrub up big time going into wherever he goes next. In terms of Cheltenham, look, I think he'd be mad to take this 5-1 now, just because I can't. Can you see him being shorter than 5-1, maybe 4-1 on the day? And you've taken the risk of ground and everything. If ground comes up soft, he's definitely not running. So if you're thinking about backing him, I'd probably hang tight and wait until the day, because like I can't see him going. Can you see him going off much shorter than 4-1?
No, surely not. Definitely
No,
not.
as I said, I reckon it'll all depend who lines. I just have it in front of me here. Like you've Allaho, you've Banbridge, Towcester, then you've Envoy Allen, John Bond's not going to run here, Brave Man's Game's not going to run here. Appreciate probably will. He's not good enough. Gentleman's Game, if he turns up, he won't run here. You've Classic Getaway, Jungle Boogie, Fast or Slow. How many are going to run in this?
Yeah, I mean, when you're reading them out, it is
Just
probably
thinking of that
more than we think.
Probably, I'm going to contradict myself again. Like just looking at it there, seeing it in front of me now, he probably will go off shorter.
Yes.
If he just goes from here. But if you are going to back him, I wouldn't back him now, because I've Sean stated there, your ground. What's the ground going to be? You're hanging your hat on the ground. And we know the last 2 or 3 years, there's been midweek where there's been downpours. So what is it going to happen again?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a worry. Just the ground, because you like they've no doubt that he's going to be pulled if there's any sort of soft in the ground. So looking at what you've said there, I can see a Ryanair market. I'll probably be 4-1 the field or 7-2 the field, perhaps, depending on how results go. But look, he's got £3 off Pick Dory there. Pick Dory didn't make a bad mistake at the last. It might have been a little bit close. I still think Banbridge would have won. He doesn't get that £3 later in the season, and yeah, look, good. It's a bit of a messy division. I don't know what to make of it at the moment. Edwardstone didn't stay. I thought he would. Way too keen from the get-go, you could tell. He was tearing the head off Tom Cannon going around there, so he just simply didn't see out that distance. But a good race, and I'd say this picture's going to sort itself out. I wouldn't be too keen to dive in now at the moment. There's races to come that'll sort these out, and the likes of Question and Allaho, he gets better in the spring. You'll know by Torres, I think Torres will be a big one for him if he goes there. If he's booked back off the front, you'll know what Allaho's around, and then you can make a decision on what way you're going to go.
Definitely. Can you see him running there? I can't see him running there at all, especially after running the March.
I thought he might have wanted. Yeah, I don't know. Be an interesting one. Like, what's at the end of January? I think it's the end of January that race is ran. So
what's on? I'll find out. On,
I think that is a Kilnock Bray. I think that's the end of January. So I'd say that's probably.
I think the only way you can back Banbridge regardless is if you really fancy him right now. Because like you said, even if it cuts up a little bit, even if you end up with Allaho and Stage Star, you're probably going to get at least 7-2 still for Banbridge, even if you've got some sort of decent ground, I'd say, personally, you know? So
yeah, like I prefer to lose an odd than lose all your stake if the ground goes soft.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it might even be worth looking at William Hill. I know they've got non-run and no bet. So if you can get on with those, it might be worth making a poke in that sort of sense. All right, okay. We'll leave that one for the time being. Then I think we'll obviously be a little bit more aware of what's going to happen.
8th of February.
Nearer the time.
8th of February, is it?
There you go. There's still a few weeks away as well. And then probably 4.5 weeks until Cheltenham, I guess. It's not too bad. Yeah. Okay, let's jump over to Warwick then, lads. We've got the Hampton Chase, the Grade 2 over 3 miles. Really impressive win this from Grey Dawning. Beat Apple away by 14 lengths, which then beat Broadway Boy by 18 lengths. Now, Grey Dawning actually went off as your 5-4 favourite, and he's now actually just 12-1 for the Browns. Generally 9-1, 10-1, but you can still get 12-1 if you fancy him for the Browns. I mean, I tell you what, this was some performance. Andrew, what did you think?
I love this horse. Start of the season, I thought him up as a horse that could improve massively for a fence. And he's duly shown it. I mean, he's a fucking head case, though. his final 2 jumps on Saturday were mind-bogglingly terrible, to say the least. But look, the engine is there. He's a massive engine. He's still learning on the job. It was probably set up nicely from what happens away in Broadway by going hammer and tongue at the front. Like people saying, "Oh, he won't really stay." Look, he just won over 3 miles when they've gone off like the clappers. He stays 3 miles. That's chill. Like, whether he is the brain to win at the Cheltenham Festival, I don't know. Look, he's run against very good horses. He's been beaten by Stay Away Faye. He should have won at Cheltenham, and now he's after bolting up here at Warwick. We touched on Broadway Boy. We were very surprised that he was running again. We thought it'd be one run too many, and it turned out to be one run too many. I'm kind of happy he's after getting beaten this far, because now they might be saying, right, he's not grade 1 class. There's a lovely little national hunt chase there, and he'll stay all day. He's form around Cheltenham. Was he 2 from 2 around Cheltenham over fences?
2 from 3. Got beat by
2 from 3
on the other one.
Yeah, 2 from 3 around Cheltenham. Stays all day. If they freshen him up now, and he has out in front, it'll take a very, very good horse to beat him in that. Apple Away, still don't know what to make of her. She ran her heart out. She's not going to win a Brown Advisory. Do you take a chance to just run her in the Mayor's Chase and kick her out in front to see how far you can get and see can they keep up? It's like, I'll just get it up here, the Mayor's Chase.
You have to try her in the Mayor's Chase. Now, she's not going to beat the Gowdens over 3 miles. It's simple as that. £7 or not, when you start giving the mares a £7 allowance over fences over 3 miles, it just exaggerates it to me. I think she probably needs £15 to get in there anyway. Because I'm really not trying to disrespect her. I just think over the staying sort of distances, coming up against the Gowdens, £7 isn't going to do anything for him, to be honest.
No, it's not. And like some are saying National Hunt Chase as well, but I think the same thing will happen again. Like, you've Dino Blue who is in here a 6-4 favourite. Fair enough, unbelievably good horse, but I just don't trust her after what she done last year at Cheltenham. I don't trust her whatsoever. She's beatable. She is beatable around Cheltenham. Limerick Lace, very good horse. I'd have her over Dino Blue right now. Progression is very key in these races. Dino Blue obviously progressing as well, but there is the massive chance that Dino Blue might be diverted to
Champion Chase.
To a Champion Chase. This all depends on what happened with John Bon on Saturday, I reckon. If John Bon gets absolutely his arse handed to him by El Fabiolo, they might be tempted mayor's allowance and whatnot. JP's he's going to say, right, I have Limerick Lace here. I can win this at Limerick Lace. Why not give her a go against the Gel and see what happens? I'm trying to find her in the bet. She's best price 20 to 1. 14's in the rest of the places for this. I know she probably might be fast enough, but at that price, as you're looking at who she's going against, Algor the Fassi, I cannot, for the life of me, believe she's still 6 to 1. Like, she should be 66 to 1. Her day is gone. Like, she got beat by Rivière de Tel going around Fairyhouse, and she can't breathe. God bless her.
She should be in the Champion Chase herself. Just let her go. Let's let her do her thing and just see how she gets on. Like, she's not staying on over 2 mile 4 beating.
The only thing she'll go do now is set a pace. That's the only thing she'll do. You've Love Envoy's not going on here. Rivière de Tel is not half the horse going this way. Galia de la Toe, we'll get onto it in a few minutes. She's going to be aimed at a big staying handicap in the future. You have Mascada as well, who I think is still overpriced, as Tom's been banging the drum for her for all season, which is he's onto a good one here now. You've nothing else really. You wear it well. She's staying over hurdle. You've Zambella. She's retired as far as I know. And Intuit, like, throw her in there.
Yeah.
Why not? Give it a go.
I think the main danger might have been Halka de Tabert, but she's out for the season.
She's out for the season as well. But like,
so
you take Dino Blue out of it and it's wide open. Dino Blue turns up here, she wins it. More or less. But there is that suspicion that she could be dropped down to the Champion Chase. We're great. But with Grey Dawn, and I won't put anyone off backing him because he's showing that progression rapidly. But the man on his back terrifies me as well at the same time. But yeah, very good performance, massive performance. I thought he'd have it in him. Didn't think he'd win this well, but yeah, Apple Away, go Mayors and Broadway Boy. I'd love to see him line up in a National Hunt Chase.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there, Andrew. I like novices as well that make mistakes and have still got the engine to win. I think that's what Great Dawning is. He always, like you said, he looked like he always had Appleway covered as well that day, didn't he? Sean, what about you? What did you think of the race?
Yeah, look, me and Andrew pointed out, I couldn't believe the price that this lad was when we were doing the preview during the week, to be quite honest with you. I thought he'd be going off like a 7-4, 15-8 poke. They've ended up smashing him right down to 5-4, and the market's fixed itself. Look, they've not hung around in here. They've went a good solid gallop out in front with Broadway Boy and Apples Away taking on each other. And look, Grey Dawn and set in behind very comfortably. He had absolutely no issues whatsoever going around there, jumping for joy. The second last was a bit mad. Now he went down side by side with Apple Away and tried to put her out through the wing, and he's jumped the last and come hard back on the bridle. There was plenty under Harry Skelton. That's the stuff that gets you excited now when you see a lad jumping the last and the jockey comes back up off him to give him a bump to go across the line. Look, he's bolted up by 14 lengths. Apple Away, I thought he was inferior to her, and look, he's gone and shown this. I don't know where she sits in the pecking order now, to be honest with you. You kick her out in front in Ryanair Chase, but is she going to be good enough, or is she a big star? I don't know whether they go. I don't know what they do with her, to be quite honest with you. The Broadway Boy was just one too many. I said this 5 runs. I thought he was coming to the end of his tether, and he showed that at Cheltenham the last time, and he just, as soon as the end of this race heated up, he sort of fell away a little bit and was given an easy time home. I'd say freshen him up and they bring him back for Cheltenham. And the change of man, he made a couple of mistakes. He has shown some decent form. He was given an easy time now by Brendan Powell when he made 2 mistakes down the back. But the mark he's on, he definitely has a handicap in him, and I wouldn't be too surprised if they go handicap next time out with him. But look, Winner was very good. Has he thrown his hat into a RSA ring? You'd say so, but I don't know how he'd fared against the Irish, to be honest with you. Like, he didn't get a test last year, Aintree, when he came down, and looking at that, you'd have to think, was he gonna? I know it was hurdles and fences, 2 different games, but you'd have to think, would he have run an absolute smasher in that, with Apples Away winning that race? So look, he's gonna go to Festival and he has his chances, but I just don't know where he'll favour up against the Irish.
He's one that's either going to plough into fences and get pulled up, or one that's going to be coming down on the snaff 2 out and giving them all the fright of their life.
Well, yeah. Big Shug just made a comment in the comment section there. Does Grey Dawning just start jumping like a lunatic when he hits the front? And possibly, because when he did get to the front, that is when his jumping sort of went to pieces. So perhaps he just does enjoy a bit of a pace to latch onto, which obviously brings him into the race. But maybe they could do at Cheltenham, leaving it until the last fence, because he did have plenty of like pace with his stamina.
Yeah.
So, potentially so. Maybe gets not even a little bit lonely, but lack of attention then with a few horses in front of him. It sort of keeps him switched on.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I don't know if he's going to run again now, but I'd love to see him in against like a Hermes Allen or go against a Stay Away Faye again. Just to figure out who is the best of them English novices, because if he does fall shy of that, I know it's probably, look, people are probably going to go mad. He doesn't lack stamina, and if the Skeltons really want a winner at Cheltenham, could you rule out a National Hunt Chase for him if he's not going to cut at the top level for the English? Like, he definitely doesn't look like he's not going to stay, and he's going to jump. So I'd love to see him tested. Look, if he comes out on top, then he definitely deserves. But in terms of Skelton getting a winner, if he does fall shy of them British, could he go to National Hunt Chase? I don't know. It's just an idea that I thought of there.
Yeah, possibly. Again, go on, Andrew. It's fine.
No, like, I was just looking at him. Like, he's like obviously his first run of the season, he's beaten 2 3/4 lengths by Stay Away Faye, but like, he's beaten the likes of Galliard de Menil, who's a multiple place graded horse at the Cheltenham Festival, and he won the National Hunt Chase last year. Look, we all know what happened at Cheltenham. Then he's bolted up by 14.5 lengths. I know it's probably because he's an absolute lunatic. We're trying to find something wrong with him that he's going to do. And it just came into my head there. I was watching the back today. If you go back down the back straight and you look at him, he was jumping grand, and he was jumping into the gaps between Broadway Boy and Apple Away. So Big Shug probably did make a good point there, where he just concentration, he goes out the window, he goes, let's have a bit of crack here, I'm going to fuck myself at this.
Yeah.
It looks like, it actually does look like that though. As soon as he goes past, he's looking left, right, like Sean said as well. He sort of jumped across, nearly took Apple Away out of the race as well. He's definitely going Browns though, Sean, in my opinion. I don't.
Yeah, no. So I was thinking out loud there, to be honest with you.
You've got to weigh up the options, haven't you? Again, he's got the engine. I just think because he's got that bit of pace as well. Maybe I think they'll stick with the
price
Browns.
is he for? What price is he for it?
He's 12s for the Browns. I don't know what he is for the National Hunt Chase.
I know he'll go Browns. I won't put anyone off. He goes on any ground as well.
It's a decent price. It's a decent price, you know.
Because like the engine is there, the talent is there. He's lacking a few brain cells. That's about it.
And he's going forward. He's always improving.
He's improving at every run, which is what you want at a horse, especially a novice. And look, he looks like a horse that if you want him, he's shown it at Cheltenham. If you want him, he's there, because the ground he made up after that horrendous mistake shows that he loves a battle.
Exactly.
So he's kind of ticking a lot of boxes there.
And it's showing the stamina again as well that we've mentioned. If he's making those mistakes and putting them to bed so easily, he's probably on his official rating. He's probably got 5-6 pounds yet still.
Like, what price is he if he's trained by Paul Nichols?
Yeah. He's the thing, I think.
He's favorite, isn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, 4, 5, 6 to 1. He's up there, isn't he?
I think this is going to be a typical classical Irish people afraid to take the English horse, and the English people loving the English horse. To be honest with you, I think he's going to be the perfect narrative for that, because I don't think we'll latch on to him, because we'll see the Irish at the DRF, where I can fully understand why the English punters might latch on to him, seeing as he's destroying everything over there.
Yeah, I've latched on to him now, and I apparently don't like English horses, but I love this fella. There's something about him I think there's so much left under that bonnet.
Yeah, even the more we spoke about it now, even I'm warming to him myself. So 12 to 1 might be a somewhat. He just keeps going forward. That's the thing. Like you said, he makes mistakes. He's still putting in the performances. Can he beat Factor File or Grinch Clare West? Maybe not. But again, this is what we're obviously trying to find out as we go along, I guess.
Like, there's nothing there saying that he can't, because like he's shown. I don't say he should. This is a bad way to word it, but he's shown like the same kind of gears that the others are shown, but he's shown them in a different way, if that makes sense. Like the gears he showed to get back up at Cheltenham, the acceleration he put between himself and Apples Away on the bridle, more or less, after decided to not walk through the last 2 fences. That's a massive engine there. I'm talking myself into the back of this fella now.
If it was a stay-in race with no hurdles, no fences, they'd all be there at the finish, wouldn't they? There wouldn't be too much splitting the engines that they've got. Do you think?
It won't be fun, because they won't be banging the fences then.
No, of course. But anyway, as far as engine goes, he might have a slim chance. Double figure price as well is not too much.
I say he's a lot more. He's a lot more than a slim chance.
Okay, well, he's a big bit of value then at 12 to 1. If that be the case,
I just thought myself into a bet.
You might just have to have a little punt on that then, Andrew. Whilst the value's there,
we don't do value. We do winners.
We do winners. Well, winning value will do us nicely enough. Cool. Right. We've spent enough time on the Hampton. Let's move on to the 3 o'clock at Warwick. We've got the handicap chase over 3 mile, 5 furlongs. This was an absolute slog, won by Emma Laval's My Silver Lining. 20 to 1 into 17 to 2. She's so good at placing her horses. I think the lightweight probably helped out here. And of course, Galia de la Tour finished second off a very big weight, actually. So it was a very decent run and nearly made it 6 winners on the day, I believe, if that landed for the scouting team. And then you had Guetta Pancalange 12 lengths back in third. So these two are clear of the rest. Andrew, did you like what you saw?
Yes, I liked the celebration. Was a good crack. She was well backed, I believe. I think she was she 16, 18 to 1 in the morning. She was well backed in the 17 to 2. Look, they were miles clear of the rest of them. But Galia de la Tour, look, I have a soft spot for this horse. I've liked her for a few years now. This could be Dan Skelton's National Hunt horse. She's just shown there. She stays every bit of this trip. 3 mile 5 furlongs. National Hunt Chase is 3 mile 6. She wasn't stopping at the line. She was gaining at the line.
She qualify for that?
What?
Does she qualify for that National Hunt Chase? Does she?
Yeah, she'd qualify.
Yeah.
As long as she has enough runs, she'll qualify for it. Yeah.
She has one. She's won over 3 miles. She's placed over 3.5 miles. I think she needs one more.
She'll need one more run.
The new handicap system, I don't know what the hell's going on with it. I can't wrap my head around it. I've not seen it so many times that I haven't taken it in yet. But if she is qualified for it, is she in the meeting? This will solve it now.
Someone in the comments give us a hand if so, if you know.
I think she won a novice chase last year. I don't know. I don't know.
Did she?
She's not.
Yeah, I think.
She's not in the betting. Yeah, maybe she's lost the novice status. Then if that.
She fucking did. Okay, that's out the window. Yeah, that's my plan. Grand National. So move on.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that. Okay, Sean, what did you think?
Yeah, look, I think the way he has played a big part here. They went a frantic gallop up in front, and it's sort of the horses that were near enough on the pace, or if not just behind it, that have stuck in there. And I think anything from behind wasn't able to get up. And the 10 stone 4 to the 11 stone 10, I'd say, was definitely the difference between the win and losing of this. This Gallia Little Toe, I didn't quite take to her, and she's been beaten at short odds. I don't know if she's going to be one of them nearly never horses that'll just keep throwing a consistent run in and probably finish our second and thirds in these big handicaps and pick up our money. My selection here, Melina's Girl, was disappointed. I don't think she was able to carry the big weight, small horse, and I think she just got stuck down in it and she didn't get home at all. So I'd say they'll go somewhere else with her now. But look, a winner going forward, I don't know where he quite lands himself. I'd say staying handicaps is going to be his trip, and he might have another one in him. As seems that he's down at that low mark, he's going to go up a little bit. He might be able to throw his hat into the ring for another one.
Yeah, I see the same thing. I was with you, Sean, as well. I was on Melina Girl, so pretty disappointed. I got sucked into how well she travelled around Cheltenham a couple of times, and just thought, well, if she does that around here, she's not going to get beat. But the weight maybe was a little bit too much, but lesson learned. Let's move on to the Towton lads. We've got the Tumar 3.5 furlong at Towton Novices Chase. Colonel Harry won this, lads, at 5-4 by less than 2 lengths from Trelawn. And of course, David Bass was doing a little bit of dancing on Trelawn the most of the way round. And then we had the King of Bright Hope, 20 lengths back in third. Andrew, what did you make of this race? And as well, was Trelawn going to win this with a more straightforward ride? I'm not actually sure what happened. Did he lose his irons?
No, I think he just hung. He just hung like
this thing's it's a fucking mad thing. I don't know where he's done this out now, because he showed no semblance of it before going left-handed. He's gone left-handed a couple of times, and I haven't seen that at all. But he's went past the stand the first time to go out to take the first bend, and he's just said, "Here, I'm going out, out." And David Bass had to give him a crack at the whip and pull him back in. He's conceded a lot of lengths doing it, and he sort of hung out again coming down the straight. Look, I'd say Colonel Harry. Yeah, look, I think he would have been beaten if this thing had a wrench straight. I don't know where it's come from, but Colonel Harry dug in, he stayed up, he was tight in against the rail. He kept the shortcut as long as possible he could down there, Gavin Sheehan, and timed it and arrived after the last and went away. The Trelawn was coming back at the finish. I'd say, look, if that's you'd be brave to back him now, but if that's a once off, he could definitely throw his hat into a ring for a handicap. He has a lovely mark and had the runs now. I think going right, if he used to go back right-handed, I don't know, he's not going to cut it at the graded level for me. We've seen he was in behind, showed good form in behind Grey Dawning and Genie's Destiny the last time. So the form is in the book. If he used to land himself in a nice little race, Kim Bailey's aren't running great at all at the moment either. His strike rate is appalling at the moment wherever. I don't know whether the horses there have gone sick or maybe they've had a flu jab or something, but they've gone completely cold. And he's the only one, him and Chianti Classico are the only two recent that have caught on to that have ran well.
Yeah, because Trelawn, when he ran at Cheltenham, there was none of this malarkey pulling himself out. And you've got to be switched on if you're going to be winning and jumping well around Cheltenham. So no idea where that came from. Could he be an Ultima horse again without all of the shenanigans?
Yeah, I was looking at that myself, Joe, and it's that thing, isn't it? You want to see him go left-handed. Like the limelight was on Chianti Classico, and I was saying to myself, "Oh, have I found one here with Trelawn?" But then you go and say to yourself, "Jesus, to do this left-handed around Cheltenham, it'd be a bit of a chances are gone."
He hasn't done it around. He ran at Cheltenham the last time, and he hasn't shown any resemblance of doing that.
Nothing at all. That's
whether that when he went around that turn now, there is a fair fucking gap from rail to rail. Whether he just went, "Oh, what's over there," and just got carried away with himself. Look, he would have won. You can't give away that amount of ground and say he wouldn't have won. He would have won. To me, Colin Harry, to say he won going away here, he was fucking plodding. He was reaching for that line.
Yeah. I was disappointed with that, I thought he was a little bit better than that.
Yes, so was I thought he was going to be a bit better as well.
He drifted like a barge all morning as well. He was long odds on at one shot, and now he went off 5-4. Yeah, look, as Sean alluded there, Kim Bailey's horse not running well. That classic, what's his name? Classic Canto. Chianti Classico. He got the best I don't want to win ride I've ever seen in my life by Harry Copton. Well done, sir. That was brilliant. You kept him out wide the whole time. You pulled them back when you had to, and you made it look like a run on the end. Well done, sir. You kept your handicap mark. He could just win this. What's he in, the Ultimate at Cheltenham?
Yep.
Yeah, he could be the Ultimate horse. I think Dave's had to put him up already for the Ultimate. He could be onto something here. Yeah, like Sean, I can't make heads nor tails. Conan and Harry, now, he wouldn't do anything for me. Troy Lane and Sean Lewis, his fishing mark of 143. Now, that'd be nice if he got into a handicap at Cheltenham. Yeah, you'd forgive him that, because he hasn't shown that he'd done it before. And to get within a length and 3/4 after doing all that, you'd have to throw his hat in the ring. But all in all, it was a weird race.
Yeah, I expected a little bit more out of the race, out of the finish. But again, we were a bit conned, obviously, because of what Trelawn did around that corner. But probably 2 horses just to keep on side for the time being. I think Colonel Harry will do a little bit better for some faster ground. He just looked like he found it way too sticky. He didn't move like he did previously in the Henry VIII, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like he's one now. I'd be jumping off that bandwagon. I'd say you've made it now. I'd say you'd be brave to follow him, just because I thought he was a horse that was screaming out a trip, and he doesn't. And realistically, he's got away with it. If Trelawn hadn't have done the antics, he would have lost. And I think you take that pinch of luck that you've got and say to yourself, right, I just don't think he's going to do it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough then. Well, that was the only race we looked at. Weatherby. Over at Fairyhouse, we had the Beginner's Chase over 2 mile, 1 furlong. Hunter John won at 8 to 15. Again, he clattered the second last. He still managed to win by 10 lengths. He's 20 to 1 for the Arkle. He's 33 to 1 for the Turners. Oh, God, I wouldn't have a clue where to place this lad. I do think he's got somewhat of an engine, but a little bit short of grade 1 level. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, look, he's a grand horse. You'd be delighted if you owned him and whatnot. He's not a horse that really does anything for me in regards to an Arkle. I find him very hard to even place in an Arkle. I think he'd be taken off his feet, and if he goes that extra stride too fast, I think he'll end up in his arse. You saw when the rev started to pick up there at the second last, he's running an absolute howler. So I'd be highly against him now. In an Arkle, and like the people. Who did he beat? Pat Dory, and people then comparing Pat Dory's. Who was in this run? Sorry, no, I was gone out of my head. They had Hunter's Yarn and Pick Dory. Pick Dory was second behind someone I can't remember, and they were comparing that, and that makes him. I'll come back to you in a minute with that. Now, we're not going to raffle on. I have it on my phone. I'll say it in a minute. But in regards to an Arkle, no, I'd be highly, highly against them. I think and then that throws into Willie Mullins, who is his Arkle horse. We'll get on to Blood Destiny next. Do you have to really consider that Gaelic Warrior is going to drop down to 2 miles?
No, they've got the Turners at their mercy now, haven't they? They wouldn't make it harder for themselves by going to take on Marine. I totally understand what you're saying, because it is starting to look like Gaelic's probably the best speedy novice chaser out of what they've got. But I still think they're not going to leave the Turners knowing that it's pretty much.
I'd say, if they are going to do it, I think they might clash at the DRF if it's going to happen, and it'll all depend on what happens then. Because I don't see him running over to the staying race at the DRF at all. So I think they might throw him in against Marine National there and see what happens.
Yeah, that 3 mile option's out the window now, isn't it? Now they've seen how fast he is.
Saying that now, whatever he runs at the Cheltenham, I won't be going near him.
I mean, it'd be some U-turn, mind, if you think like they started off by looking at the stayers, then they went to the RSA, and then the Turners. They, for going from the 3 mile hurdling then to 2 mile chasing, is a big old difference, isn't it? I'm sure they've got a bit more idea what they want to do.
I have it here now. I have it here.
Far away.
Firm footing, so was in behind Pick Dory, was 8 lengths behind Marine National. That's some form line some people were putting up. So you can't read form literally like that. If you are, you're on hiding nothing really.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
your visuals have got to come into play as well, and what you see in the horses, haven't they, as well, if you're going to be putting them at that sort of price. Yeah, look, I mean, let's move on to Blood Destiny, shall we? He ran today at Fairyhouse. and he got beat by Spillans Tower by 2 lengths at 7-1. It was a pretty decent performance, to be honest, by the winner. But I think we were maybe more underwhelmed by Blood Destiny. Sean, what did you think?
Yeah, I just wanted to say on that Hunter's Yarn, I did see a lot beating around that this could be an Arkle horse. Look, there's a malfunction between that lad's brain and his feet. I couldn't be touching him, and you'd be a brave man. That race got rattling at Cheltenham down to the third last. I wouldn't fancy being the jockey on his back going down to that, because when he leaves him alone, he can do it. But when he presses the button, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna go kaboom through it. And I couldn't touch him. Not with that jumping. Like, people would say El Fabiola, but El Fabiola was a bit more careful than he was, where he's literally going to go straight through the fence. And if you route one, you're going to come down at that pace in an Arkle. As on like today's plan, yeah, like, geez, I'd hate to be the jockey on that lad's back. But as Spillans Tower, look, I was talking to Andrew before we started here. I was wickedly impressed by this fella. Now, where he's going to go, I'm not quite sure. I thought he was a handicap plot job. But if you go and watch this race back, Mark Walsh, the race heated up 3-4 out, and Mark Walsh was giving him a little pushing along, and I thought, right, perfect run. I've got my handicap. He's going to come home and get toward here. But if you look at what this lad has found for Mark Walsh when he's been niggled along, Mark Walsh hasn't lifted the whip once between the whole race. He didn't pull the whip out once. He's given him slaps down the necks, and he's gone and picked this Blood Destiny up quite easily, and had plenty left, done not much when he's got to the front as he has in the past. And I think he's a lad that needs to be taken serious consideration for. I don't think they'll overwhelm him with a Cheltenham, but I think it'd be something like a Punchestown at the back end of the season, where you'll see this lad going into a Grade 1 company. Because, look, Blood Destiny has dusted the rest. He pulled away clear, and he's picked them up with ease. Like, if you go and watch the replay, like, I was quite surprised to see how easy he's picked them up in the end. The two were pricked and not done much. So I was really taken by the performance. As I said, I thought he was a handicap lot, but he's going to be a great performer. And I'd say towards the end of the season, up and trip, potentially all the way up to 3 miles is where you could see him. Blood Destiny, look, I was worried about him before, and I'd be worried about him now. He's getting weight off all them, and he couldn't do it. I'd say people say he didn't stay, but he didn't stop coming up the Navan Hill the last day, did he at all, with Hartwood in behind? So I don't know what way you take him. I was cold, and I'll stay cold on him. I wouldn't be backing him for a race for Cheltenham. But the winner, I wouldn't disrespect it. He went off it, I know, big price, trained by a small trainer, but he's gone and done that well, and I think he deserves credit.
Yeah, fair enough. What about Silent Approach as well? She gave a bit of weight to some of the geldings there as well. It was a big performance. To be honest,
I seen that. She's backed it up twice. I said to Andrew, I wonder, could she be one for maybe a place at a Cheltenham Festival if 1 or 2 mares didn't run up the form? But yeah, you'd be brave. I don't know what price she is. I don't know if she's gone shorter than you'd think. Like, initially in my head, I'd be thinking she's 33 to 1 or 25 to 1 shot, but she could be far shorter than that. So I'd say you'd be a brave man to take a punt at her shorter than them prices.
She might have to prove she can do it left-handed as well, possibly. I don't know. Maybe that's a question.
Yeah, perhaps.
We'll see, I guess, in time. What about you, Andrew? Any love for the winner here, Spillans Tower?
Yeah, I really liked it. Down the back straight at the start of the back straight, it looked like Mark Walsh did not want to have any interest in this race. He was just popping away at the back. But the further the race went on, the more he had no choice but to leave the horse come into the race. He's a very, very good horse. To do that and do it as easily as he did was mighty impressive. As Sean alluded here, he's trained by a very small trainer. He's not going to get the respect because of who he's trained by, but Jesus Christ, there's an engine under there that's very, very good. He beat Blood Destiny. Look, I don't like Blood Destiny myself, and I'd be off him every day of the week, no matter where he ran. 2 Mile 3 probably wasn't his trip, but his jumping is not good enough, plain and simple. But Spillans Tower, I was mightily impressed with that. I know some of the lads can't remember the podcast that Deco and Andrew they put him up. They put him up a long time ago to keep an eye on him, and they were duly righteous. He was a mighty performance he put in. Coast cleared at the run in. Where they go now? Do we skip Cheltenham with him? James Mankin is not a man to throw him into the deep end. He loves nurturing horses, and whether Sean said there it'll be the end of the season, the Punchestown Festival, the greater races around there, will it be Easter or Fairyhouse, could be another option for him. He's a horse definitely to stay on the right side of the silent approach as well. She backed up her run from the last day. She's turned out to be a very good mare. Again, trained by a small trainer. She won't get the appreciation she deserves. She'll pop up in a big race throughout the season again. But Blood Destiny, any slips you have from in Cheltenham, lads, throw him out the window because he has no hope. He's just a horse that, if he faces a challenge, he folds. You can see, you saw it at Cheltenham. He faced the challenge from the start and he folded. His second, Splan's Terror came up next to him. He folded again. You could see it in the replay. With the cameras facing straight on, you could see Splan's Terror coming, and then Paul Townend could obviously hear him coming, and he got very vigorous on that saddle very quickly, and there was very little response out of it. So, yeah, Splan's Terror, very good horse.
Love that. Yeah, really, really big on them from you two guys. Yeah, fair enough. Interesting to see where he goes next time as well. Okay, so have a look at the Moscow Flyer next then, guys. Over 2 miles, the grade 2. And Annie's Baby, Mystical Power, managed to get this done for us today. Winner by 7 lengths at 5-4. Jigaro was next at 4-1, beaten by 7 lengths. And then James Gate beaten by 17 lengths. I really like this performance. I'm not necessarily sure he deserves to be favourite. Mind you, the form may stack up a little bit better. Andrew, what did you think of his performance, first of all? Did you like him?
It was a performance stamped with quality. He's a highly talented horse. Look, he's bred by the right horses. Out of Any Power by Galileo. There's so much talent underneath that band. Look, the jumping needs to improve, but to jump like that and to still win how he won was mightily impressive. They alluded to after the race that he's a horse that doesn't do much at home and just does everything, all his talking on the track, which is what you want. You don't want to be winning races on the gallop down the close out, and you want to be winning them on the track. And look, is he too short now? Yes and no. No horses have really come out and stamped like he has there. Look, Jericho, he's not really done anything yet. Where Mystical Power has, like, he's beat Jigaro, who's beat Jasko the Dams by 9.5 lengths, who's after today as well has been second to Liz Nagar Fortune, who's beaten a short head by Reading Tommy Wrong, who went on to win the Lawlors of Naas. That form alone is miles ahead of anything in the race. In the Supreme field right now. 4-1 is skimpy, but it's on the back of what he's done and what he's shown and what he can go on to improve to. You're going on, his jumping can improve, his racing can improve, as in he was a bit keen at the start of it. He settles down a bit more, and he's by the right mammy and daddy. He could be anything. I think the Helter Skelter Cheltenham, the faster to go, the better he's going to be, and you never ever get a slow Supreme. So I personally think he's worthy favourite on what he's done right now, and I think they work on the jumping, and I think he'll improve. He's worthy favourite now, and then you have the conundrum of how many is JP going to run in the Supreme. But that's the other conundrum you have. He has himself. He has Jericho. If A Dream to Share comes back, he's definitely a 2-miler. And there's 1 or 2 more in there as well.
Mooresor
West as well. Whether he turns up at Cheltenham now is another.
No flies on him too as well.
Yeah. So obviously they're going to have to split him up some way. But the vibes from Willie Mullins and what David Casey said, they're saying they're trying to get across to JP. This is a 2-miler, JP. He's going to the Supreme. But yeah, look, the form is stacking up. You've James's Gate as well, who was placed in a champion hurdle, or not champion hurdle, champion bumper. Lombrom was he was good when he won his maiden hurdle as well. Look, it's stacking up there, and I think he doesn't get the credit he will deserve, and the people will be crabbing it because he won a bumper around Bannon Road and he's either winning a main hurdle around Galway. It's there to see. The engine is there. The jumping needs to improve. Probably a bit skimpy right now, but I think he's worthy favourite.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I mean, I agree. He definitely, for me, is an absolute 2-miler. Anyone saying that he needs to suddenly go up to 2.5 miles is just beyond me. It really is. I'm banged on about this all season that JP, the only races missing off his CV are the Champion Chase and the Arkle. He wants 2 milers, hence why he bought Jericho, Mystical. Well, he didn't buy Mystical Power, but all of these other 2 mile recruits because he wants to win the Champion Chase and he wants to win the Arkle. I can't imagine him sending Mystical Power up in trip here to run in the Ballymore and then bringing him back to an Arkle for the next year or whoever else they decide. I think he'd be happy to run 2 or 3 in this race. I reckon we could see Mirzel West, Jericho, and I also think we could see Mystical Power too. Personally, I don't see why they want to step this one up to 2.5 miles when all he's done is win so far over 2 miles. I know he's obviously got that stamina in his pedigree, but why bother trying to change that when you get to Cheltenham? He's still got to prove that he can be as functional and as effective over that trip at a course like Cheltenham. So for me, like you, Andrew, I think the faster they go at Cheltenham in the Supreme, the better he's going to be. And I think he's going to jump better the faster he goes as well. I just think he's going to be a real quick, slick jumper. So
it's
fully
just
with Andrew,
like people are saying, oh, he's beaten Naughton, he shouldn't be favoured. Like, these are the same people are saying Jericho is the best thing since sliced bread, and he was 4-1 favourite from today, and he's beaten
nothing.
Fuck all. He's beaten a horse that had blonde highlights. That's all he's beaten, like, and it's not like, wow, look at that. He's good. He's good. There's no getting away from it. But what has he done to be justified to be 4-1 favourite before today? Mystical Power has done a hell of a lot more on today than he's done in his whole life. And he's after having this kind of race where he's stuck in behind horses, he's making these mistakes, he's learning as he goes, and he's picking up off the bridle, where Jericho is doing everything on the bridle. And this happens year in, year out, that horses who are doing things on the bridle in England, this is nothing against English horses, the same if that happens in Ireland. You go to the helter-skelter at Cheltenham and they're going an extra pace stride faster than you're used to. They're taking off their feet. They're making mistakes. They haven't a clue what to do. And by the time they figure out, all right, I have to go this bit faster and I have to get my feet up quicker, the race is over. That happens every year.
Yeah, I love that. That is so true. Because like you said, Jericho's still got to prove he can find as well when he is asked to come off the bridle as well. He hasn't had to really go too much of a pace. And even when Jericho got to the front, Nico had to give him some sort of nudge just to remind him what his task was at hand, where Mystical Power, he, like you said, he was behind horses. He was able to weave through, make a mistake, hold up if need be, pull out, still find a turn of foot. It's much more educational, and he seems much more ahead mentally than maybe what Jericho would at this stage, because again, like Jericho's still got to prove that turn of foot. Mystical Power is now a graded winner at the same time. So
like Jericho does have, he's a talented horse, but I want to see him like go through the gears and show that if he gets in a bit of trouble, if he gets in tight the hurdles, that he can find out what to do with his feet and keep going again.
You don't want to find out at Cheltenham, do you? Like, you don't want to
go because it won't happen at Cheltenham. The race will be over.
Exactly. What about Gigaro, who finished second? I was speaking to a lad in the comments called Trev Clark about this, and I mentioned previously I think he could be a bit of a Martin Pipe horse. He actually came up and said the same. What do you guys think? He's a talented enough horse, isn't he? Is he the typical sort for you guys as well, or not necessarily? I quite like him. Double figure price.
Yeah, look, I don't know what way they'll go with him now. It's 4 runs, isn't it, for a handicap, and what he's had 3 now, so probably 1 more. I'll just touch on the winner. Look, I'll come from a neutral point of view. He is favourite. Is that the best thing we've seen the best race we've seen over 2 miles? I'd say it's probably up there with the strongest, and he probably does have the right to be up the top of the market. You can throw bullets at it, but like his jumping, I know you're saying going quicker is going to slicken up, but I don't know if that's guaranteed. He's shown twice now at Galway and today that the jumping's not the slickest. Look, it can be worked on, but I just don't know if that's going to be his downfall. But there's no doubt, and just twice now he's being asked by Mark Walsh. He's come off the bit a couple of furlongs out, and he's latched hard back onto the bridle. Today we've seen he's come back through. You see him, he's in last. I know it's small run off field, but he asked the question and he cuts himself right up into the middle of that pack. He goes into the gap and he comes out wide and goes down. So he's answered twice now. There's definitely something underneath that bonnet. He hits a little bit of a flat spot. But just the thing on the jumping and when Mark Walsh has to ask him, my only worry would be if that happens coming down the hill at Cheltenham to 2 out, that'd be just my biggest worry at the moment. If he hits that little bit of a flash spot and he kicks him and then he goes down and jumping that hurdle, that'd be just my biggest worry at the moment looking at him. I think he has shown that he definitely does deserve to be up there in the market in a wide open renewal. And I can see arguments for and against. I'd stand neutral at the moment because I think it is the standout, but I just have that worrying about jumping. He's not the slickest jumper for the 2 miler, and Helter Skelter Supreme. It's either going to go right or wrong. Let's be honest, he's going to learn or he's going to make 4 or 5 mistakes and his chance be gone. In terms of going forward, I could see him thrown into a DRF. The DRF is 3 weeks away. He wasn't bottomed out there, and he's had a race, but don't forget, he's off since Galway in July, I think Galway was, and he's had a long time off. 2 runs before the Cheltenham Festival. I wouldn't rule out if he goes to the 2 mile race, and if he does, you will learn everything there.
What I will say as well, though, about coming down the hill, hopefully by then they're just about picking up the pace and starting to get racing. I think if he's hitting a flat spot at 2-3 out, I mean, it's quite late on, isn't it? You'd be worried for his chances then, but hopefully by then he's already bowling along and starting to maybe find a bit of pace, which might help him. But
yeah, look, it's just like the fine tuning. It's like, right, come on, we're in a race, and he gives him the bump and he latches back on for him, you know?
Yeah,
it's like he's half asleep. And then, as you say, when Mark asks him to wake up, he's there. Yeah. Suddenly a change of gear and you see him latching onto it.
And this probably shows, this is where we probably see a bit of his, where we probably don't realise we see some of his stamina as well, is that he's still able to hit top gear after things like that and being keen or whatever you like, or not maybe fully settling or hitting a flat spot, and he's still just maintaining a strong gallop through the line. Yeah. It's a powerful performance, isn't it? Like going through.
And you can only imagine what he's going to do when he hits the hill. He's not going to be stopping going up. If anything, he's just going to be lengthening going up it.
Yeah, Summit needs to turn the foot if they're going to beat him. That's for sure. I suppose that's
look, like what I kind of would. This is not comparing 2 horses. This is what I think might happen. You could have Jericho, who's the bridle horse, and comes and jumps his way to it, where it could be my 10 to yours against Champagne Fever. Champagne Fever was never the best jumper in the world, but fuck me, he stayed 2 miles really, really well. And I think it's going to take one hell of a performance to get past this horse, because he just seems like that. There's gears upon gears to keep going.
Yeah, I can see that.
And look, he's given Willie that standout. Everyone's been looking for the 2 mile Willie horse, and thankfully today I was happy seeing him do it, because I think it means now that Ballybourne goes definitely to the Ballymore, that Willie has a clear candidate for the Supreme now. But look, that Dublin Racing Festival, I think it's something that should be considered. He could rock up there, and you'll have the likes of him and Foreign Glory and all those in there, and that could be a cracking race now.
Do you think Bally goes to the Ballybourne now? That he's got mystical power?
Oh, 100%.
I think he's screaming. Yeah, I think Willie was just nervous that not nervous, but I don't think there was a clear standout 2 miler, and he's seeing what this lad has done, and he's probably going to put him in it. But now he's found that he has 2 mile standout candidate for the Supreme. I'd say it's nailed on him going to the Ballymore.
That's heartbreaking to me. Heartbreaking, lads. That is.
He's one now that he's another one that needs to brush up in his jumping as well.
He is.
There's a few of them. Go on.
I just said he's one of these again. I wonder that if they just let him go over 2 miles, if he'll just be better, because he's got this slight head carriage that we looked at, and obviously he was nearly putting his nose.
Yeah, I think what happened between the Lawlors of Naas and today is probably put the nail in the head for him going to Ballymore, to be honest with you.
All right, okay, fair enough. Well, I'll take that one on the chin. One more to go through then, lads, and that happened in the 342 at Fairyhouse. A very big name, very big reputation. Sean drifted from 1 to 3 out to even money. That's Romeo Coolio. He won by 1 1/4 lengths, and he's now just 8 to 1 for the champion bumper. What did you make of this? I mean, he's getting a lot of stick, but it really was a funny gallop. There was no tactical battle. It pretty much turned into a sprint, a little bit messy. I mean, that's how I see it. So I'm willing to give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt for the time being. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, look, I was one of these lads that backed him. I had him back for the champion bumper, and the race, look, he drifted, the drift hold all, and look, after time, and that's special here, but I got involved when he got out to a price of 11 to 10, even money. I never dreamed that he'd come out that big, and the Willie Mullins horse came in. The exchanges were crazy. He touched 3 on the exchanges at one point. Unfortunately, I didn't catch that, but the exchanges were mad here, coming in for the Willie horse and him going out. But in a muddling race, What has he shown us? Like, we've learned probably not much, as you would have wanted to learn more. It's been a very walk, and they sprinted for 2 furlongs. The Willie Mullins horse finished out the back of the telly, and he's got to the front, not done much, and hasn't been impressive. It's a horrible one now, to be honest with you, if you're on him, because you haven't learned much, you don't know much, you're going on reputation, and if you ask an honest opinion from someone who's backed him, Jalan Dadaris has shown a lot better on the track than what he has, and to them to be, I don't know, is it in around the same price now, or are the
6s and 8s?
Yeah, like they're still close enough. Like Jalan Dadaris, I think, is one that's shown a hell of a lot more than he's shown. So you're hoping he comes on a bundle. Look, Gordon it was a bit of a windy thing after. Now he was saying that maybe he was short of work and he's going to come on a lot for Cheltenham. There's absolutely no doubt he has to. Stronger gallop is what they're saying he wanted, and it was a muddling race. That's what I agree with. But look, we don't know, and he's going to go to Cheltenham with 1 run, and I think he'd be brave to get involved now.
Yeah, they said it. Yeah, that's right. He's going there fresh, then, isn't he? He's going to go straight there from that run now.
Yeah, I don't think there's much. I don't think there's much options, to be honest with you. Like, the DRF is close now, and like there's no real winners of a bumper race that he can sort of go in between now and Cheltenham.
You wouldn't want to burst the bubble as well before Cheltenham, would he? By getting him beat there. Yeah. I'd like to see him on a bit of a faster surface. I think he'll act a little bit better. And we'll probably see a much better performance than what people are expecting. That are just looking into the distance on the paper, maybe a little bit underwhelming. Hard to. I can't weigh this one up. Andrew, help me out.
He's not for me. 8-1 on what he's done. He's 8-1 on reputation. I just have it up in front of me here. Winners of the champion bumper runs they have gone into a Stream to Share 3, Facile 2, Sir Gerhard 2, Fernie Hollow 3, Envy Allen 3, Relegate 2, Fiona 3, Ballyandy 4, Moon Racer 2, and Silver Concord. That's from 2014 up to last year. That's not a good stat for him going into it. They've all had 2 runs or more going into the champion bumper. Jalan Dudari has done far more. I like Joystick in it. I thought he won 2 races and won at Leopardstown. He saw off 2 horses at the home straight very well. I know it was over further than that, but I think drop back down the trip, use him from the front. I think he could run a massive race at 2-1. 8-1 on Romeo Coolio. I think that's mind-boggling, to be honest with you. If there was no talk about him, the price tag wasn't attached to him, there's not a hope in hell he'd be 8-1. You'd probably stick another 0 next to it. Yeah, look, he's obviously a very talented horse, but 8-1's a ridiculous price.
Yeah, I'm the same. I wouldn't go anywhere near him at that sort of price. You got to see more. You can't trust him on the back of that effort, can you? Really?
No.
It's hard to fight his cause, isn't it? To say this is the supreme winner and why.
Why did he drift so much as well? What's the story behind that? Like, you can say that they really fancied Willie one, but go from 1 to 3 out to even money. That's a mad drift.
Yeah, that is very, very big. I got to be honest, I was sort of writing him off when the drift happened, but I should have been smart like Sean and had an extra piece of it. Sort of.
Oh, well, I don't know if it was smart, Joe, but it was either do it a lot or you have 2 things. To be honest with you, it was get the stake back, or else you've done your stake and the single bit.
I bet you were twitching coming up the straight, mind. There were a few hairy moments, weren't there?
There was a question there where he pricked the ears, and then he did dig in fairness to him, but he didn't go away with the swagger that you'd say, Jesus, he's a winner now of a champion bumper.
That's it.
And like the champion bumper, it's a race of unknowns, because you have horses that might run 2 or 3 times. You don't know the improvement half of these are going to show. You don't know. You like jockey bookings, you can throw out the window half the time because you don't know how much improvement is going to come from what. And to take 8-1 on a horse that's on reputation and at the winning 1 race, he won it easily enough, but I think it's very hard to be back in something like that at 8-1.
That form's not exactly going to stack up too well. I like your point there, though, Andrew. That's significant. Like you said, more than 1 run probably required. And it just shows the improvement that they probably show over those races as well. So, wouldn't be for me either. Definitely leave him for now. But that Yalon Dudari, he looks rapid, man. He's a very, very fast horse. And he's got a bright future as well. But I won't be back in anything in the bumper till a little bit closer to the time. Nothing stood up for me just yet. So, Right, well, that's the review done and dusted then, lads. When are we back next, Andrew? We got an anti-post one this
We're
week coming.
Back Wednesday for a weekend preview, and the anti-post then on Friday.
All right, perfect. Thanks to everyone that's tuning in. Keep the comments coming as well. Always welcomed. Please do click like and please do subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back with you all real soon. Bye for now.